Hello everyone and welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. Today we're going to be looking at the latest from the models for the next couple of weeks. But first, a quick word on the new details released about a hosepipe ban. Yeah, maybe some of you have heard, especially if you live in the parts of Yorkshire and Lincolnshire as well as Derbyshire, that a hosepipe ban has been issued by Yorkshire Water. And I'll quickly show you now. So I've just seen this. This was what we woke up to this morning, this afternoon just about. UK's first 2025 hosepipe ban declared in Yorkshire. Obviously reputable, and it's affecting more than 5 million people. And the reason for this is due to that lack of rainfall. As you can see there, 15 centimetres of rainfall between February and June, which is less than half of what you'd expect. And the reservoirs have been drained to around 52%, so quite a record low, really. And we've had adversely dry weather in the region, as well as, many parts of the country. Also, Thames water, I can't remember what they call off the top of my head, but the Thames water system for the London area, which affects around 10 million residents, also are at the risk of seeing a ban as well, hosepipe ban as well. Basically, if you did use your hosepipe, for example, I think you are up to the risking a fine of up to like £1,000. It's not just hosepipe bans as well, so it's just like hosepipes for gardens and washing your car sort of thing. You can get a penalty for it up to £1,000. So yeah, don't do it. But anyway, bit of a downer. Yeah, we're looking at the latest from the models because, as we know, there's an upcoming heatwave on the way this weekend, and we'll have a look at the potential temperatures that we could see for some areas, which could exceed some quite relatively high levels. If we look at the latest UK Metephis run, it is quite extreme, I must say. But anyway, so if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. I do appreciate your continued support. And drop a comment below to let me know what you think to the format of the videos. And send it to the weather channel. Anyway, at the moment we've got high pressure to our south, low pressure's way to our north. Winds are in from off the Atlantic, keeping us relatively dry and settled at the moment. Now, as we go beyond into the end of this week, high pressure begins to transfer further eastwards into our southeast, and we're dragging that wind from more of a southerly or southwesterly direction. 10 degree ice firm moves in for Friday, bringing up those temperatures, but by Saturday into Sunday, the 15 degree ice firm is surging northwards, bringing those temperatures back up to what we saw only a couple of weeks before. Now, this run, the GFS run, which is the American model and is low resolution, so it's harder to pinpoint temperatures, is showing highs of 32 degrees in parts of Herefordshire, for example, and the southwest. But as you'll see in a moment, other runs are actually going a bit higher than this. Going beyond that, though, into Sunday, again, remaining pretty warm or hot with that winds in from the south. 15 degrees firm getting up as far as central England and even into parts of northwest Scotland there. They might even see 30 degrees. Pretty ridiculous for the time of year. But by the 14th, again, bringing that 15 degrees firm back in as low pressure sits to our west. But eventually it moves in, and that could bring with it the risk of some thunderstorms into the early half of next week. It's basically a week away. Going beyond that, though, by Thursday 17th, low pressure's out to our west, packed to our west in the Atlantic, in the North Atlantic, and high pressure's to our south and east, and winds are in from a southwesterly direction. Again, the risk of a few thunderstorms, particularly in the south and east, are possible. But again, we are turning a little bit more unsettled, but again, we're still quite warm. And it's a pretty ridiculous run, really. Not as warm as the 6Z run, and this is the midday run, but it is still up there, if you know what I mean. It's still quite warm for much of the run, above average temperatures, basically. Moving on to the GEM run, let's see if it follows a similar trend. Again, that high pressure to the south is going to be moving further eastwards, migrating further eastwards and southeastwards into the weekend. So obviously turning warmer with winds in from the east or southeast. Bringing in that 15 degrees firm to the whole country with the GEM run, until that gets cleared away by Monday into Tuesday, and we've got an area of low pressure set out to our west. That eventually moves in through the country on Wednesday, bringing bouts of wet weather to many parts of the country before that clears away. And again, the 10 degree ice, I'm just staying around the country, staying pretty warm. Winds in there by the very end from the, you can see they're from the northwest to the south. It's a very convoluted chart with low pressure out to our west, high pressure to our north, and high pressure to our south. Not sure about that one, GEM. But it's a very mixed up chart, that one. And then finally, we'll have a look at the ECM run. the 12Z run, see if that's very similar. High pressure again to our south, moving to our east, winds in from the southeast or east, and again the temperature anomalies at 15 degrees firm moving in by Saturday. Sunday again remaining pretty warm, in fact quite hot. With this run, let's see what it's showing. Oh, we can't see that far. It's only just coming out, to be fair. But yeah, again, it's going to be pretty warm. Temperatures probably 30s to 33, 34, or even 35, as you're about to see in a moment. But then by Monday, again, we are starting to turn a little bit more unsettled, slightly more unsettled, particularly further west, but nothing ridiculous. Before again, with this ECM run, you can see by the end, day 10, winds are transferring again with high pressure to our east into more of a southeasterly direction, bringing back the 15 degrees firm and the hot air to the south there. 20 degrees firm just over parts of northern France, just away from our shores. So a very mixed signal there. So will the heat hold on? Well, we'll have to wait and see. These are the GFS ensembles for London. So basically all the runs, there's 33 of them, and it's within a chart, and you can just see them all here. Also, developments on the Sendit's AI model are a little bit slow. They're in the beta phase at the moment. I did a run and it showed 46 degrees, so I'm not sure about the accuracy of that one, but it's on its way. It will get it sorted when I can. And hopefully it'll just be a bit of interest, won't it? Anyway, for the next week, it is looking above average largely, quite significantly above average. 15 degrees firm moving in could bring temperatures to the 30s again, maybe even a little bit higher towards the 32 or 33 degree mark for many. But we do see a return to slightly above average for the rest of the run, really. Not much deviation, a little bit above average. Again, we could see another spike of heat into the third week of July, but of course that is open to uncertainty. But of course we'll find out in the coming days what comes of that. But yeah, very much around to above average for much of the run, really. Doesn't look like quite a warm or very warm July is setting up. In fact, maybe hot, and maybe we might see records broken, but I'm not going to say that at this stage. There's still a way to go. Now I'm just going to change the screen like this so that you can see this is the UK Metaphys run for the next 5 days to see the precipitation and the heat. So we're going to look at the max temperatures actually. So Thursday, you can see the heat beginning to move in. So by 3 PM on Thursday, we're getting that warm air in, beginning to move in from the east and the southeast. And then the temperatures are rising, particularly further south. Highs of 31 degrees in the London area, parts of the south, southern England, southern central Britain, receiving temperatures between 28 and 30 degrees. Again, that isolated spot of eastern Wales there, over the Herefordshire way, Gloucestershire way, seeing the highest temperatures there, 30 degrees, pretty widespread up to 31 on Thursday. Into Friday, you can see the temperatures climbing quite widely. With this run, this is a very ambitious run from the UKV, I must say. The UK Met Office, this is, by the way, the 3 PM. So, again, open to uncertainty on the exact high temperatures. I do think it is overdoing it a little bit, but it might be near the mark. It is a high-resolution model, so it can pinpoint temperatures better than the other runs. But by 3 PM on Friday, you can see temperatures expected quite widely for southern central Britain and the parts of the east and southeast, to see temperatures rising widely to 32 degrees. And again, that Herefordshire, Gloucestershire area, 33 degrees being pinpointed there. So very warm, or even hot, you might say. Saturday looks even hotter if this run is correct, with widespread 30 degrees showing up here. I mean, that's pretty warm, look at that. Pretty hot, even Scotland reaching 30 degrees for Aberdeenshire there. Pretty warm, you'd say, or maybe even hot. Even the parts of Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, 28 to 30 degrees, so a quite hot day, if this is correct. And then for central Britain again, 33 to 34 degrees, an isolated 36 degrees there. That's pretty warm, but most of it is hot, you'd say. This is a heat wave threshold being met here. 32 to 34 degrees quite widely if this run is correct. And then by Sunday, again, very last frame, there's this isolated pocket of 28, 29 degrees. I'm not sure about that. There might be a bit of precipitation. These will be thundery, by the way, on Sunday. That would limit the temperatures down a little bit, but that could bring some interest. More on that another time. But again, widespread 33 to 35 degrees if this run is correct. 36 degrees for Northern England is quite unheard of, really. with this sort of pattern. But of course, it'll be variations within regions with this, especially if there's thunderstorms around, which more on that again another time. But again, you can see it's a very hot day, 34 degrees quite widely, particularly further south and east. So yeah, that's that. So the trend is for it to turn hot this weekend in particular, but starting Thursday, Friday, we're just going to see that heat surge from the south and southeast from Spain, Italy and France, and then we see a continuation of that until around Monday or Tuesday, when we could see a little bit of unsettled weather, particularly further west, before we do see the temperatures trend slightly down, but again remaining above average and mid-20s for many of us, at least until the third week of July. So thank you all very much for tuning in to today's video. If you found it informative and interesting, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I do appreciate your continued support, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.